Let's start with a listener question.
Ooh, fun.
Charlie wants to know, who is Michelle's favorite character so far? And this could be any character. You don't have to, I mean, I shouldn't tell you how to feel. You don't have to be loyal to like one of the core four.
Wait, okay.
Your favorite character.
I'm very interested in Spencer's storyline.
Yeah.
Emily had a great episode. I really feel it goes episode by episode, season by season.
Okay. So far in season 3, who is your favorite character? We're 18 episodes in.
Probably Emily.
Emily is your favorite character. Wow.
Yeah. In season 1, she was my least favorite.
I know.
But I think she like, and again, it's too fresh. She had a really good episode. I feel this episode we're about to talk about. Who's your favorite character?
Well, you guys can laugh at me.
Is it Jason?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Listen to my reasoning though. I love a comeback story. I love an underdog. He might hey, I'm not saying he wasn't toxic as a child, as a teenager. He was.
Sure.
He has left those children. Garrett was not his friend anymore. Ian wasn't his friend. He doesn't really have a lot of friends. It's very sad. Considering how he grew up, and we'll see more about how his parents have treated him, I think he came out pretty okay.
Yeah.
I also I'm not blind to the fact that I love him the way he looks. Okay. I know I have a problem, and I know that is not a reason to judge someone.
Is that a problem?
It's not a problem. I'm just letting you know, Jason, I see you. I appreciate you. I'm actually just the most interested in what, like, I love that bad boy turn good. Like, that is such an attractive thing. But I also just really like how he's, I don't know, like even in this episode, he's like, I let you guys have some time with them. Like, my parents just left. He's just more caring than people see. And while I think he should have been a better big brother, I think he's trying maybe a little bit better in his relationship with his sister now that he has a sister that's alive and well. Well, she's not well, but alive.
Okay. If you would please step down from the soapbox.
Yes.
Out of the 4 girls, who's your favorite?
I guess if I had to say, it would be Spencer.
Yeah.
Only because obviously character-wise, she is the most intriguing story at this moment. And I think she will continue to be my favorite. I'm saddened that Hannah is no longer my favorite, but I don't think that the writers are doing her justice.
Yeah.
So therefore, as like Lauren Daisy had said, they want you to believe it's Aria. It's not really Aria. It's really the Spencer show. And I feel like they put all of the eggs in the Spencer basket.
Yeah. She's got the most interesting stories going on.
Yeah. And Troyan is just so phenomenal at what she does.
Yeah.
It's just really interesting to watch.
Yeah.
And I also, to go back on the box, I really enjoy, like, I am the person, like, I love a family tree. I love, like, this person's related to this person's, this distance. I love seeing people who don't normally have scenes together, but they are related. Like, I love, even though they had arguments, Jason and Spencer in this episode, I loved it so much because it's interesting.
Yeah.
They have a good dynamic. And again, I just think Jason has had the best arc in a very short time. It's just a very short time. I get it. We had some moments. We had some creepy moments. He did say the pictures were Allison's. He didn't. I mean, get the video thing. It's problematic. He was a kid.
I'm not
excusing it.
Yeah.
But I like that I think his sobriety is interesting. I think he's just interesting. And I know that you guys are going to laugh because I'm attracted to him as a character, but it's more than that. It's true love. It's unconditional love, you know?
Yes.
But Troy and Spencer, you have to give it to her.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that Emily is your favorite in this episode.
Yes, but
because I feel like she's been given the shit under the stick with all these ridiculous storylines with the Maya and Nate and all that. That I feel she should have some good stuff.
Yeah. And I feel like
They're
she's
not
evolving
utilizing.
nicely as a character and coming into her own skin.
Yeah.
And becoming more
agreed.
comfortable of who she is. Because
Agreed.
season 1, we we're like, oh my God, she's such a sleeper. And I'll
Yeah.
never forget when we talked to Will, when he was on our episode. I don't remember which episode, but he loved Emily.
Yeah.
And both of us were like, yeah, Emily's kind of boring. And he like told us why he's enjoying Emily and where her story's going. And I was like, okay, you do have points. I'm not saying I don't like her. It's just, I'm glad to see her be utilized.
Me too. And I would like to see it more.
Yeah.
And on the forums and on Reddit and all that, when people talk about their favorite characters, like really it's 50-50 with Emily. People are like, I just think she's a boring character. And some people are like, I am obsessed with her.
Wow.
You know.
I'm sure this is going to change next season.
I'm sure
this will change in like 2 episodes.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, so the episode we are discussing is titled Dead to Me. It is the 18th episode of season 3. It was aired on February 5th, 2013. So we're kind of like getting to like similar time frame here. And written by Joseph Doherty and Elijah Baraz and directed by Arlene Sanford. Now that Allie's remains are back with her family, the DiLaurentis are set to bury her again, giving the liars another opportunity to say goodbye to their friend. Spencer has had enough and wants nothing to do with the burial, why keep saying farewell to a girl who wasn't that great of a friend after all? Meanwhile, Emily goes to visit Dr. Sullivan, to help with her unresolved feelings about killing Nate, but comes away with much more than expected. Your body was turned when they had the beginning credits and it said Annabelle Gish, when it said Annabelle Gish, who plays Dr. Sullivan, and I was like, she's not gonna know she's in this episode. Would you have known that was her name?
No,
okay.
No, it wouldn't have mattered.
Annabeth Gish. I'm pretty sure that's her name.
I really don't pay attention to the credits and looking for characters because I don't know their names. I don't know the person who plays Lucas. I don't know the person who plays Holden.
Yeah.
Who else am I waiting for? I'm sure there's others. Oh, Mike.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't know.
Okay, well, that's good. You were surprised to see her.
Very surprised.
Yeah.
Wow. Back in Rosewood practicing? I can't believe it.
Right?
Yeah.
I would be afraid.
Me too.
If it was me.
Absolutely. I'd have to have a practice in the next town over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so as the summary says, as I teased last week, my secret, the DiLaurentises are planning to put Allie in this mausoleum, and Jason offers for the girls to say goodbye. They all agree except for Spencer, who is like, she wasn't a good friend to me. I don't need to say goodbye. I've said enough goodbyes to this girl. And she was a poor friend to me. He tells the girls, as I said last week, the items we buried with her in the casket are still missing. The police are still looking for them. So nobody who wants to be innocent in all this should have these items. So Hannah's like, we should get rid of the stuff we have.
Yeah.
But Aria says, I'm not really ready. I'm not ready to do that because her reasoning, and I have to agree, A wants us to get rid of it because A wants us to, they want to set us up somehow. Like they think we would get rid of it, and therefore I'm not going to.
How would you get rid of the items? I think.
Burn them? I mean, what do you do?
That's good. I think I would put them in a garbage bag.
Throw them in
and
the
then
lake.
wrap them in a box. Wrap them in another box. Wrap that and hide it in my house somewhere.
For Aria, it's I was gonna say easier because she has 2 separate earrings, right? She has 2 earrings now, right?
Yeah,
she does.
Yeah.
So one you can hide somewhere, one you can hide that, but I guess it's still
and
like
I think,
if they found
or
one.
I would say everybody should hide theirs separately.
Yeah, but also there are still stuff from the casket that they have not found yet.
Yeah.
So any of those things, they don't even have to know that it, let's just say it's something Jason had buried with Allison, like a tie. I'm just thinking of something random. And that ends up on Aria's porch. That looks really bad.
Oh, of course.
Especially Aria being like, I don't know where this is from. Oh shit, I'm getting arrested because I put this, in my house somewhere. So they're SOL either way, but Aria says, I'm trying to have the upper hand, I guess. I'm not ready to give it up because I think that's what A wants. So Hannah's like, okay, I think that's stupid, but
okay,
whatever. You do what you want to do. To rile up Spencer more, at school, Mona goes up to her and she's like, "Hey, Spencer, we've been noticing you're off your A game lately." Oh my God, girl.
Mona.
And Spencer's face just immediately changes. And she says, "Well, if you keep it up, you won't be joining us at the decathlon, and that Toby will have to be rooting for me." And Spencer slams that locker closed. She is seeing red. I mean, people in the chat were like, I would just slap her right there. I would just strangle her right there.
Yeah.
Oh my God. She knows exactly what buttons to push, what she's doing.
Of course. And now she knows, obviously, that Spencer knows the whole Toby of it all.
Knows. So right. And
use it to her advantage.
They're not proving that Mona is still a part of it, but they know Mona's still a part of it. And Mona's like, I know you know, and I don't care. Because
you mean the girls?
Yeah. She's like, I know they know I'm still a part of it.
Yeah.
But they'll never one up me. Oh, she's so evil. But in a different evil type of way. She's not Allie evil.
No. She's, even though she's so
it's just
dark,
like maniacal. It's
like
clever.
Mean girl. Mean.
Yeah, she really is.
She just reminds me of Blair so much.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Like if Blair was a sociopath,
right,
she would be Mona Vanderwall. Like they are one and the same.
Yeah.
Very intelligent.
Yeah.
So Spencer meets up with Tony Hawk, which we find out his name is Miles Corwin. And he tells Spencer that he found the part of town where the key leads to, but he's going to need some more encouragement if he wants to find the specific door. So Spencer's like, okay, go ahead. So she reminisces in her room with SPOBY memorabilia, pictures. She's got like a box of all of his stuff and the rocking chair and the cars. And it's just the things you do to make yourself just cry and cry more when you're breaking up with someone.
It's like pouring salt in the wound.
Exactly. You're like, I just need to just feel something, because if I don't, then what was it for?
Yeah.
And then she calls Miles and says, keep looking. I want to know where the key is. And he asks for $500 cash. And she was like, done. I'll do it. He tells her that, before that, she sees Jason in the street. And Jason, which is so small town, she's taking out cash, $500 cash out of the ATM. And Jason just walks over and is like, that's a chunk of cash. It's like, oh my God. Safety on the streets.
Well,
you can't just be holding a wad of cash.
Sure.
This is her brother, and he says to her, look, I don't understand what's going on with you. What is your problem? All these people keep saying to her, what's your problem? It's like,
and they're also talking to each other like something's really
wrong with her.
Spencer.
Oh, Spencer, what's your problem? You have to speak differently to someone who's grieving, which I guess Jason doesn't know that her and Toby broke up. Not that it would matter as much to him, but the girls know that Spencer and Toby broke up. And
Emily is the only one who's showing compassion.
Right. You think that they would be more compassionate.
Yeah, they're not.
But they're not. And Jason says, I need to know, like, what's your problem? And she's like, you don't want to have this conversation with me, because if we do, I'll win. And you're not going to, like, that won't be good for anyone. Like,
it was such a.
What does that mean?
There's so much power to that statement, but also so vague.
But so like nothing at all. Nothing was. It means nothing. What she just said.
Because if she was like, oh, yeah.
But when we're still learning, obviously, what was going on with Allison. Really, though. Does this have to do with Allison? Does Toby hurting her and breaking her heart have to do with Allison?
I think it's just all.
She's just placing her anger into.
Well, she was tricked.
She was tricked,
as we see right now. Like as it looks, Toby
is no bae.
Right. Yeah. And then we find out that Allie maybe was pregnant. And Wilden maybe was the father. Like, there's no confirmations here.
Right. And I guess to her, the point of her being mad at Allison, too, it's like, Allie always lied to me about who she was and what she was doing. Of course, Toby would be lying to me and whoever else. Like, it's just another added layer of people deceive you all the time. And I'm just sick of it.
Yeah.
So she's lashing out in the memory of Allison not really wanting to be a part of that. And the other girls are like, but she was like, Jason's like, she was your best friend. She's like, I don't want to talk about it. You don't want me to talk about it.
I know. Yeah.
Again, vague, but he's like, oh, okay, what am I going to do with I can't force you to go.
Yeah, you can't fight with someone like that.
Right. So Miles gives her the information of where the key leads. He says it's a small unit in Mayflower Hill. We don't really know if that's like Bucks County. We don't really know what that means, but it's Mayflower Hill. He tells her that Toby's credit card was ran for like, gas and things like that, but also for, I think he said like $60 of hydrangeas, something like that. Expensive. It wasn't 60. It was like expensive hydrangeas.
Yeah.
And he's like, what are you hoping to find there? Like, what are you looking for? And she's like, well, if you play that game, he loves me not, it's kind of like you're chancing if someone actually cared for you, and you just have to kind of find a flower with odd petals, and therefore you get that I love you. And he's like, okay, but serial killers and things, like I watch criminals all the time. They don't buy hydrangeas.
Right.
They're like, he's implying like this guy's not evil.
Right.
He's just skipped town.
Or he's doing something that's not related to what you think it is.
Right, exactly. Like maybe this is not what you imagine it to be. So she goes to the building and she opens up the door and it's bare bones. There's nothing there but like a mattress. And
so let's talk this out for a second.
Okay, we'll try.
Do you think she was telling that story to him to talk to him? Because what was she hoping to find? I don't think an apartment with no think
she was hoping to find hydrangeas. I think she was just hoping to find Toby leaving her a clue saying like it's not what you think.
Right. And
her going there with it being completely empty, like, not a trace of him or any of it. She's like, oh, okay, so he's still protecting A and not our relationship.
Right. This confirmed it for me.
This confirmed for me that this was all like a sick joke.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
You know what I mean?
I do. And that's what I was thinking.
Kat says, did Nobe clear out A's lair to protect the A-team from Spencer finding them? Or did he just pick up and leave and say like, I'm done?
Yeah. And I'm also curious, maybe he wasn't in Bucks County this whole time. This was just his, because this looks like a room in a house. This is like apartment
building. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he was always correct me if I'm wrong, he was always telling Spencer
that's where his job was.
Right.
He was working on a job
we
there.
had no confirmation of that. It could be in this
been in Rosewood this whole time.
Or in this Murray, where are we?
It is Mayflower Hill.
Sorry, I don't know where I go. I was like Murrayville. No. Mayflower Hill.
I don't know if Mayflower Hill is like the apartment complex name or if it's a town or if it's a street. We don't really know what they mean. Regardless, it's not very far from Rosewood.
Right. So either way, I think Toby was just living there, and that had anything to do with A stuff.
Oh, okay.
And he just packed his bags and went because he had to get out of town.
He had to get out. So that had nothing to do with A.
I don't think so.
It was just, but why would he? I guess if he was Nobe and evil, he wouldn't want Spencer to know where he was staying.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he did like A stuff on a laptop or something, but I don't think A stuff was.
I mean, you don't think the whole A team was keeping their stuff there?
I don't.
Okay. I don't remember if we honestly get confirmation if that's exactly where it was or not. I don't really remember. But it's bare bones. He's not there. She loses it. She absolutely loses it. She storms into Allie's mausoleum. The girls are about to leave without her. She blurts out without hesitation, without a care in the world, that Allie was pregnant potentially while she was killed, and it was with Wilden's baby.
She doesn't even say potentially. She said she was pregnant.
And the girls are like, Spencer, stop. Like, stop. Not here. You don't even have your facts straight. We don't even know if that's the
confirmation.
Truth. And Jason storms out and leaves. He's obviously so upset, especially like, how dare you? That's so messed up. The girls are like, what actually is the fuck wrong with you?
Like, just because you're hurting, you don't have to make us hurt with you.
Right. We're not your punching bags is what Aria said.
Yeah.
And so Spencer, she leaves. She ends up going into another part of the mausoleum.
Yeah.
Confusing. Just so happens that Marion Kavanaugh, who is Toby's mother, is also buried there. And on her tombstone head, is that what you call it? Like in a mausoleum, is it still a tombstone?
It's a great question.
The stone, we'll just say, is hydrangeas. So he skipped town, but not without saying goodbye to his mother, basically, by leaving her hydrangeas. Spencer sees the hydrangeas, and I don't know how you took this scene. Obviously, this is so messed up that she takes a key and scratches into the gravestone, like the stone. That's so beyond messed up. But I don't know if she was writing Toby in desperation of like, Toby, I'm looking for you. I need to know answers, or Toby is dead to me. Like,
I took it as like that? Toby is dead to me.
Toby is dead to me. And I'm not marrying Toby.
Toby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Spencer.
This is
how disrespectful.
This is so disrespectful. This is
also
so
that wasn't like $60 worth of hydrangeas.
No.
It was like,
well, yeah, it was like one, 25.
Not
it's probably like two little things.
Kidding, like Trader Joe's. It's like,
right, I know.
What,
he obviously didn't go to Trader Joe's.
$10. Yeah, no, this was so completely disrespectful.
So disrespectful.
And, like, I know we're off the deep end right now, but
yeah. Oh,
wow. God. Like, take it out somewhere else. Don't do this to his mother.
Right, his mother didn't
her
do
resting
anything
place.
To you. It's so sad.
Yeah.
A few questions for this storyline. Mike says, will SPOBY work it out, or is this the end of them?
I think we are going to get some sort of answer.
Well, yeah, but do you think that it's enough for Spencer to be like, oh, I still want to be with you?
This very much depends on what
his answer is.
What the answer is. I don't think this is the end for them. I do see like them having another interaction, a meeting, but maybe it's going to not be in a romantic way.
Do you ever think they'll be romantic again?
It's too soon to tell.
Oh, it's too soon. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Britt says, when do you think Spencer will tell the other girls about Toby?
That Toby's was part of the A-team? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I feel like
now she's been holding it for 2 episodes.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to go at least another episode. Okay. Because they're going to be pissed at her. Be like, how dare you? And now I'm very curious if they're even going to approach the fact of the scene she just made.
Right.
They might be like, we're not touching this. We don't know what your problem is. Like,
I would be like, not even wanting to talk to her.
No, right.
I mean, they have to realize also, we know, yeah, she's grieving, but there are ways that you act.
Yeah.
When
I
it's a
could
loved
see
one,
Emily reaching out.
Someone's death and talking about them ill after death, and it just in their mausoleum, and it's so messy. It's so bad.
Yeah.
Britt says, will Jason kill Wilden?
Wow. No, I don't think so. The prized peach, Jason committing a murder?
He would never.
No, he would never. He's turned a new leaf.
Do we even see him that angry? I feel like we haven't seen him really angry.
No, I don't think so. I don't think he's gonna kill.
He's a Buddha now.
I don't think he's gonna kill Wilden. I think I'm hopeful he's not going to react on him and try to gather some facts first.
Right. And the girls, I think Hannah's like, what do we tell Jason? Aria's like, we need to focus on Spencer first.
Yeah.
Because something is not right with her.
Yeah.
Kate sent an email and included a tidbit from the New York Times podcast titled How Bucks County, PA became a celebrity hotspot.
Whoa.
She says the host talked about how Bucks County, Pennsylvania is now popular among celebrities like Gigi Hadid and Bradley Cooper. Apparently, it's the new Hamptons. Who would have thunk?
That's where you guys should go for your anniversary.
We should go. Bucks County. I was thinking maybe Kate May as well.
Oh, there you go.
We should just have a Pretty Little Liars weekend trip. Yeah. Kate May in Bucks County.
Uh-huh.
Molly says predictions for the Spencer spiral.
Yeah.
What could be going down with Spencer's? That's a hard thing to say. Spencer's spiral.
Spencer's spiral. I think we're going to go another episode where the girls don't know Toby is part of the A-team. And the reason for her freak out, I think the girls are going to try to they're going to come together without Spencer and try to figure out what could be going on. Also, I think we're going to see Jason try to get some facts about what Spencer said.
Yeah.
And then in 2 episodes, we'll come together again.
Okay.
I hope I'm wrong, but this is like a big deal, so.
It's Like,
I think we're gonna keep the tension high.
yeah. And especially since we're like nearing the end of the season.
Right.
Gotta keep the momentum up of something, some sort of secret.
And
going
we're
on.
getting the resolution at the end of this season, right?
Yes.
A little bit of, at least,
yes.
right?
If my memory, I've only watched ahead a little bit.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm pretty sure by the end of the season, we will have this answer of the Toby situation.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Hannah thinks that, as we said, she and Aria should get rid of the casket items. She then sees Caleb at school, and he got off the phone with his mother, who then says that his aunt, who he was once in living with, who is his dad's sister, is moving to Brisbane, and she's selling the house and all the items of memorabilia of all of his childhood nostalgia. And Hannah's like, okay, so you're going to go and clean out this house and get some memory and keepsakes. And he's like, no, I want nothing to do with this. I guess, obviously he's very hurt because these people gave him up for adoption. It's unclear. It's a very hard to understand situation.
I agree. Without reading it and seeing it on paper, I'm having a hard time with this family tree.
So I think that the woman he used to live with was his father's sister. So I guess both of his parents were MIA. He ended up having to live with his dad's sister, his aunt. The aunt then also went MIA and put him in foster care when he was, 6 or something.
Yeah.
And then ever since then has been in and out of foster care and families. Now, the aunt who gave him up to foster care is moving. So therefore, everything in her house must go.
When's the last time we've seen this aunt?
No, this is not even. Oh no, we met the woman who was his foster mother. It wasn't even his aunt. Remember that woman, that terrible woman, that had to
my gosh, yes,
bitch slap with her words, basically. Yes, we never meet this aunt, but apparently it's his dad's sister. And then he says, "Oh, my uncle Jamie." Who is also supposed to be now his dad's brother. So the aunt's, the dad's brother, even though we will find out it is his dad.
Right.
So it's very confusing.
Also, just
so the Uncle Jamie is going to clean out the aunt's house without the aunt being around. The sister's house, basically.
Right. Where is Caleb living?
Where is Caleb living? Where the hell is this barn?
Well, I think it's in Rosewood.
He's right. It must be close by because he says, "Oh, my Uncle Jamie used to take me to like Philly games," so they must live obviously in Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah. I'm in the Rosewood, Philly,
right? Like outside Rosewood, maybe something like that.
Where
where is he living? Where is he living?
And so weird for his mom.
And then he says, "Oh, so that my mom found me." Therefore, then make contact with his aunt again. Like they've been out of contact for 17 years. Well, no, I guess 10 years, maybe. Let's just say.
Wouldn't the aunt be like, "Hey, your baby daddy is gonna be there," and unless the mom orchestrated this whole meet cute situation.
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
If Caleb hasn't been there since he was 6, why is it his responsibility to go to the house and sort through the stuff?
Well, I guess it's technically not his responsibility, but his mom was worried that he wouldn't have memorabilia, I guess, from his childhood, in which he doesn't care. I mean, clearly he does care about because he's a sentimental person.
Yeah, of course.
But he's so angry with this side of the family.
Yeah.
Because his dad left and his aunt put him up to foster care. I don't know why I can't say that.
Also, we don't need this storyline.
Thank you, Michelle. It's another Ezra situation.
And we love Caleb.
I want to see him happy and all is well. We don't need to add things. We don't even need to add. We had to literally do a catch-up game for the audience. This is the aunt when we don't need to know any of that because we don't need to have this storyline. I'm sorry. We don't.
We don't. Nope.
Yeah. So Ezra gets a storyline this season. Caleb gets a storyline this season. Toby gets a storyline this season.
No, Toby's fine.
No, because obviously it adds to the A of it all.
And you know what? Let's give Jason more.
Right.
Let's give Jason, makes sense to give him more. Why are we giving Caleb a newfound dad.
Right.
I don't
Thank
need
you.
this. This is
Thank
such
you.
a waste of time.
I absolutely
Unless
agree.
Jamie, Mr. Doyle, Daddy Uncle is A.
Right. Then that's great. Then
I don't
we
need
would
it.
loved it.
I was waiting for him to be sorting the stuff and find something from Allie's casket.
Oh my god.
And I was like, okay, this is where this is going.
That would have been
makes
good.
sense. No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. It has
doesn't.
absolutely,
Nothing.
unfortunately, nothing to do with the A situation.
Cool.
Hannah talks to Jamie, Uncle Jamie, and what Uncle Jamie says, oh, my brother, he's a deadbeat. No one likes him. No one hears from him. He thought leaving, was going to be okay, but people move on and he couldn't come back into people's lives. And Michelle's like, is this guy his dad?
I mean, it's so obvious.
It's so obvious.
I mean, I think they're doing that on purpose, that it's obvious, because we get the resolution 2 seconds later. But
exactly. Well, I mean, we sort of do. He gives Hannah this baby picture of Caleb when he was 6 months, and Hannah realizes that she doesn't think it was in the rummage. She thinks it was from his pocket and his wallet, and she doesn't really know what to do with that image. And he even says to her earlier, oh, he treats you right? He's a good guy. He turned out to be a good guy. And Hannah's like, yeah, he's a good guy. And he's like, just make sure he treats you right. It's like, well, no, she doesn't need to make sure he treats her right. He should just treat her right. But okay.
Well, right. And he's like, oh, I didn't treat my former lady right. And I left my son. So I want to make sure somehow that didn't get passed on to my son. And that was my fault.
And Hannah is just prying too. She's like, do you think his parents were in love?
Yeah, that was weird.
What do you hear from him? It's like he doesn't want to be here. Yeah. You stirring up conversation with his uncle that he has no relationship with, it's not helping Hannah.
No, it's not. I mean, I can understand having a conversation, but asking like, oh, do you think Caleb's parents loved each other at some point? Who asks that? That's such a weird question. I guess a teenager. So weird.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I think so. There was love there. It's just a weird situation because I guess we don't really know what happened between them. Obviously, like they have this baby. They decide not to be together because the dad left them.
Right.
But what happened to the mom? She also left.
Or she couldn't handle it. I don't know.
Right. And then then he was left with the sister who eventually couldn't have him either and gave him up to foster care. It doesn't make any sense. I'm trying to rack my brain as to.
And then it's like,
and then years later, wait, we don't. Right? Why are we spending time? We were probably already spending 5 minutes wasting our breath. 5 minutes. And but like the Caleb's mom years later is like, I found him.
Because I'm capable, and she has a whole new family, right?
And she's got a whole new family,
California.
And he's got like step siblings.
I understand reconnecting. Fine. We gave Caleb a mom. And you know what? The mom got into a car accident from A. So like, let's tie in the A.
Sure.
Okay, but this is not needed.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's not needed.
Vic says if we were in Caleb's shoes, I guess, finding out that this house is going for sale and everything had to leave, what would we do given the circumstance?
If I had nothing going on a weekend,
all right,
maybe I would peruse and see if I could find some cool vintage things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we fortunately did not grow up like Caleb, and I don't know how I would feel if my dad's sister, who I used to live with, who gave me up for foster care, is selling her house. I'd be like, great.
You have no relationship to them.
I have no relationship to any of these people.
Yeah.
Well, I would love to have a baby picture of myself. And maybe my mom has one.
Right.
I don't know. It just was weird.
It's just weird.
So Hannah, obviously, she has her suspicions. She's like, I think he's the dad.
I got this.
He's the dad. Kat asks, what are your thoughts of Uncle Jamie?
I don't know. I don't care. And I don't mean that as it's a bad question,
We don't know.
Kat.
We don't care.
It's a great question. I'm just like, how long are we going to do this? And is Jamie now part of the show, or is he is? Okay. I think Hannah will try to set them up to meet.
Yep. Yes. She
will
will.
Get a cup of coffee at the brew.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. So she ends up showing Caleb this picture, and she says, look in the picture. He knew you before you were 6 years old. that ring he's wearing today, he's also wearing in that photo. I think he's your dad. And Caleb's like, sure, bye.
But Caleb's also like, yeah, I know, you're right.
I've known it this whole time.
Want to deal with this.
Right. He's like, I just want to close the book.
Yeah.
On this past and just move forward, but Hannah's not allowing him to. And like, while you should be that soundboard for your partner and be like, hey, do you really feel like this? Are you just sad and hurt? Are you gonna regret this? I don't know. I don't want you to regret anything.
Right.
And at 17, it's pretty big of her to actually like be aware of that in a relationship. Like she is there for him regardless. She doesn't want him to miss out an opportunity, but she's like so pushy sometimes.
She has a good heart, but
she does have a good heart.
Yeah.
Okay, Aria.
Another one.
Hi, Wes. What do we need you here for? I'm sorry, no reason at all.
I was telling Liz during our watch, I zoned out.
It's just like Aria and Ezra.
And I was like, do I need to be paying attention to this
and
right
I was
now?
Like, no.
Because I just don't care about
I don't blame you.
The West of it all. And for Aria to go there because she's got to warn her plans. I can understand going there because you just want to be in Ezra's world.
She just wants to smell the sheets, Even
if you slept there, I would have been fine if we just had her by herself, just like walking around the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Give me that. The West of it all.
Yeah. So she stays, she's obviously not staying there, but she's spending a lot of time at Ezra's apartment. I guess, like I said, she's smelling the sheets. She's watering the plants, so she says.
Mm-hmm.
Spending some time there. I guess maybe she's typing on his little typewriter.
Yeah.
And then is surprised to see Wes there because Ezra told Wes he could stay there while he is going to visit with Malcolm and Maggie. And Wes is like, I don't really know what happened, but, he's vague on the details. And Aria's like, yeah, I haven't heard from him much either. But, I'm just here to water the plants. And Wes is like, you could do that. I would basically kill a cactus. Like, I've done it before. Like, please come and water the plants. So throughout the day, or like maybe 2 days worth, Wes is there, and at first the phone rings and Aria thinks it's weird he's not picking it up, and I'm like, dude, I would just be like, hey, it's my mom trying to ignore her.
And again, my head is like, oh, it's A.
It's A.
Because I'm trying to make sense of it all.
You're trying to make everything about A, and they're like, no, we don't want you to know anything about A.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
So Wes he picks it up, someone clicks, they hang up, and then later on they're out and about after getting lunch, and we learn his physics teacher's husband goes up to him in the street, in which Wes takes his bag and like punches him in the face with it and runs off.
Yeah.
And then he has to explain to Aria, look, okay, I'm not here because he says the dorms are being fumigated at his prep school, which we're like, is that high school? Is that college? Prep school is high school still, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's technically, I guess, a senior. Maybe he is Aria's age.
I'm gathering that.
Yeah. And he's there because he actually got expelled. He's been trying for like months to get kicked out of this school because he doesn't want to be there anymore, because he doesn't want to be a Fitzgerald and blah, blah, blah. Wow, woe is me. And his mommy kept paying off the school. And finally, this was the last straw. They finally expelled him because he hit on his teacher. And Michelle's like, oh, hit on students, hit on teachers. It's all the same to a Fitzgerald.
He had that really corny line.
Oh, God. Ezra taught me.
Ezra taught me how to drive. It didn't teach me how to get away from my family.
What is that? His dialogue is beyond one of the worst in the whole show.
It's so flowery in a bad way.
It is. It's so unnecessary. We had this guy just had the words. Why did we have to add words to the sentence?
I also just don't understand. You wanted to get kicked out of school
because he wants to like make his own path, just like his brother.
Why don't you finish
and then figure out
if this is high school? Is this high school?
Right. If this is high school, you got what 5 more months left of high school ever?
Well,
so right. We think.
Oh, right, because we're in November.
We're in November.
Just finish if it's high school. If it's not, I just don't care.
We just don't care.
Oh my God.
And then we have this added layer of then Hannah saying, is he cute?
Yeah, picked up on that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's cute, but he's full of himself. Why? We had enough.
He likes living off a trust fund.
Oh, God. He also tells Aria that Diane doesn't like her because she's unpredictable.
Yeah, and she's the best thing that, along lines of she's the best thing that happened to Ezra.
Vic says, will we see more of Wes?
Yeah.
Britt says, how are you feeling about Aria and Wes? Do you ship it? Do you prefer it over Azaria? I prefer it over Azaria.
I do prefer, I think they're more on the same level.
Maturity level.
What would their ship name be? Arius? No.
Was Aria? Aresley? Waria?
Gross.
It's off. They're all
gross.
terrible.
I mean, how do you feel about Wes? I'm not alone in this.
I like him better than Ezra. Yeah. I think we did not need the addition.
Yeah.
But, you know, like many things in the show.
Right. Like many things in
the show. I'm not a fan of Ezra.
Yeah.
Wesley, you're okay in my book, I guess. I'm interested in him more. But but at the same time, I don't care.
I hear you.
Because to me, I feel it's not
Ian
worth it.
Off doing other things, so that's why he can't be in episodes.
Yeah, Mike says, when will Ezra come back? What episode?
I think in 2 episodes.
Do you think he'll want to try things with Maggie?
No, but I think it's gonna leave him feeling like I need to maybe move closer to be near Malcolm. Like I think this is going to bring on a move of some sort.
And Kate was like, Aria said he's like 1,000,000 miles away. She's like, it literally took Aria like a half-hour train ride to get there. It's only a half-hour train ride.
I can't. I just
it's so bad. They have to add all these unnecessary details that don't make any
away.
sense.
November is 5 months long. Yeah. I mean, the time and distance.
It's terrible.
Terrible.
All right. Lastly, Emily, she goes to pretend to visit Pam at the station. She's really there to take the picture of Wilden with the big fish, but it's missing. Wouldn't you know?
Wouldn't you know?
Yep. Pam sees her. She's like, hey, let's go get dinner. She unknowingly takes out something from Allison's casket. And she's like, what is this? And I was like, oh, that's mine. And there's also 24 more of those that could potentially pop up. A postcard of Paris at the Eiffel Tower. And I guess we do have a flashback where Allie is like sorting places I guess she wants to go, postcards of where she wants to go. And Emily had buried those with Allison. A writes on the back of this postcard something in French for basically Emily to stop digging. The cops already know that you're guilty of murder or capable of murder. And she's now, of course, if she wasn't already thinking about Nate and that whole situation, she is now, and she's feeling an immense amount of guilt. She's also feeling like I am not a good person. She's having PTSD. And A, of course, has to taunt her about it. Emily even tells Pam, like, I'm not good. And this scene is so heartbreaking. She's like, don't do this, Mom. I know what I am. I know what I did. And Pam's like, you are all good. There's not a bad bone in your body, Emily. Like,
again,
I know you.
If we go back to season 1 and how Pam was.
I know. It's great.
Talk about evolved.
Such a great.
And Emily has also evolved.
She really has. Yeah, both of them together.
The Fields women are shining.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I'm really enjoying their relationship.
I love Pam so much. She might be my favorite parent.
I think she's my favorite parent too, at this point, for sure.
I mean, I know Slim Hickings, and I do love Ashley.
I do love Ashley too.
I love Pam.
Pam is like I shouldn't say Ashley's not a parent, but Pam is like the one that you want.
She's like mom.
She's mommy. Yeah.
You know?
She's the nurturing one. And not that Ashley's not. She's just, Ashley is a different approach to her parenting, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so Emily, she decides she's going to go see Dr. Sullivan. Yay for going to therapy.
Right? Yes.
Thank goodness. She's going through a lot. She says, I need to go get help. She gets there. Dr. Sullivan's like, let's talk about it. She's like, I know what I did. You don't have to talk me out of it. I remember what I did. And Dr. Sullivan says, let's try hypnotherapy. She goes, no, I remember exactly what happened, what it felt like, what I was doing that night. And Dr. Sullivan says, well, it doesn't just give back memories. It also can reframe the way you think about it. So she's like, okay, great. So they have their session. the scene. Cringe.
I mean,
city.
how does one act out hypnotherapy?
It's
I'm laughing. And it's a serious scene, and it shouldn't be funny.
No, it shouldn't be funny. But it was. When you watch it with a friend, it's funny.
Exactly. I mean, even if you're watching it by yourself,
it's really funny. Yeah. So anyway, she's going through her hypnosis, and Dr. Sullivan makes the mistake of saying, "Take me back to that night." And so originally we think that she's going to go back to the night that Lyndon and Paige and all of that.
yeah.
But she ends up going to this kind of nightmare scene where it looks like she's about to murder Allison.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's reframed later on because she's outside and she hears the sprinklers, and it sparks the memory of that night where she's actually in Allison's spot and she's watching A dig up Allie's grave. And she's screaming, "No, we can't do this. Stop it. You got to stop." And A starts suffocating her with, holding her mouth shut so she can't scream. And she sees right over there is this red hooded blonde woman. And she's like, she's in charge.
She's HBIC.
She is HBIC, bitch.
Now, this whole sequence,
Whew.
when A jumped in the grave and they're like using their crowbar, it felt like a spider monkey. It was like, it was so,
Do
comical.
you think that they glue the hood to their face? Because there's no way that this hood was not flying off.
What a good point. Yeah.
That's
If I was,
crazy.
obviously we've seen Toby now wearing the black hood, but if I was doing something like this, I would have a ski mask on and the black hood. I mean, you'd have to be fully covered.
Right. And who's to say they aren't? They
Right.
might be, but
Yeah.
they specifically make it on purpose that they are not showing you their face. Yeah. She says, all they know, it was a woman. She was blonde and she was wearing a red coat.
Yeah. And she's in charge.
She is in charge. So the girls are like, what does this mean?
I mean, Hannah.
And Hannah says, I know it's crazy, but do you think it's Allison? Aria's like, that is crazy. I'm like, bitch, you just saw her in your dream like the other day.
Like, we
Don't
can't
be like, mean about
we can't
that.
even give it a second to even consider it. It's not a crazy thought.
Right? It's not a crazy thought. Aria's like digging up her own grave. It's like, okay, well, Emily saw something. Hannah saw something. She thinks.
Emily, of course, now has seen multiple somethings.
Exactly. So I liked that ending of it. Like, she's in charge. Like, Emily finally, like, someone has in the liars.
She has clarity.
Right. And she has clarity of that night, but she doesn't know, was that after Jenna and Noel? Was it before? We don't know the details. Who the hell knows if we get more details about that?
Come on.
But what's great is she remembers that she didn't dig it up. She watched A dig it up, and we know who's in charge.
Yeah.
So that's good.
That is
fun.
good. That is fun. I mean,
so
my
now,
jaw dropped.
now they'll be like on the hunt for, okay, what's red coat blonde situation? Also in addition to A.
Right.
But they're probably more likely to now be like, oh, okay, I have an idea of who I think this person could be. Or like, if
I can only assume we're going to question Cece.
Can question Cece. Yeah.
She's friends with Allie. She has blonde hair.
Right.
They also could be wearing a blonde wig.
They could also be wearing a blonde wig.
So
we couldn't put the past them to be wearing a blonde wig.
That's probably what it is. If it's not Allie.
Right.
I know Vic is convinced that Allie is, Allie's alive.
Yep.
And I do like that theory.
Me too.
Because then I'm thinking, like, with the whole body situation, if Wilden was involved, he can kind of, I'm talking about in the beginning when we have our funeral in season 1. But wouldn't I don't know. Maybe not.
I mean, that's a whole other question of like, okay, if Allie is alive, who the fuck's in her casket?
Or there's no one in the casket.
Or there's nobody in the casket.
And somehow that got through.
And all the DiLaurentises are like in on it.
Or they're not aware. I don't know.
I know. It would be so convoluted. It would be so involved.
Yeah, right.
So,
right.
In due time.
In due time.
Okay, a few things to mention that I felt like were kind of random to add, but Hannah figures out, not really sure how, but she figures out that Paige was talking to someone, and we learn, obviously, Sean, we would learn her name is Sean if we watched the episodes, that she worked at the costume shop and where the Queen of Hearts had bought their costume. And so they're trying to figure out who had purchased that costume.
Did you see how fast Spencer perked up? Did you find out who purchased it?
Yeah.
Because I think she also doesn't want the girls to find out that it's Toby.
Right. She could be sort of protecting him in a way.
Yeah. Don't you feel that? I don't know. That was the vibe I was getting.
Or just like, oh, is that going to lead me to Toby? Is that going to lead anyone to Toby? Does the Queen of Hearts have anything to do with him?
Yeah.
Imagine like replaying that in your head and thinking, okay, so the Queen of Hearts is choking me out. That could have actually been Toby. So many things she probably has thought of in the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Also, Mona stops by to see Dr. Sullivan. She was there with a housewarming orchid. And she's like, I just wanted to give you this. I know I can never repay you for what you did. And Dr. Sullivan is scared. She's like, I'm going out of town for a few days.
Yeah, I'm going to take this plant with me because I'm like, there is a camera, there's a listening device there. There was a garbage right next to Dr. Sullivan. I really thought when Mona turned around,
she's going to dump it in there.
I was like, wait, that would have been perfect. You set that right up.
Right. And like, she was her therapist. She knows how dangerous Mona was and could to potentially still be. And to like, it would be bone chilling for me to like get a visit by her late at night outside my office door.
Absolutely.
With a freaking plant being like, we're good.
Right.
I'll show you how much you were good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. No, I'd burn that plant.
Not good. Then we have our last scene. We see a purchasing whiskey. Someone behind the counter is like, make sure you get their ID. And we're going to very ridiculously slowly have them taking their ID. Of course, we don't see who it is. But I said to Michelle, hey, they're getting carded. So at least they're semi-young looking, right? They could be in high school still.
Sure. But I got carded
yesterday.
Right. I mean, no, I haven't gotten carded in a long time. But up until like a few years ago, I was still getting carded.
For sure.
Which is like a huge compliment.
So totally.
Yeah.
I used to hate it, but
I know.
Now I'm like, oh, thanks.
Thanks so much. Like I got carded, I would say like 5 years ago when I bought a lotto ticket.
Oh.
I was like, are you blind?
You don't think
sir?
I have to be 18 to buy
I believe
a lotto
so,
ticket, right?
yeah.
I'm
like,
think I'm 18.
Oh my God.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, over to Lucky Leon's Ladle. The scoop of the week is Blue Moon ice cream, a bright blue ice cream flavor that is popular in the Midwest.
Ooh.
The exact flavor is a secret, but some say it tastes like citrus, vanilla, almond, or Fruit Loops. That is a whole weird palette going on there.
Wow.
I chose this flavor this week because the bright blue color reminds me of the drink Hypnotic, and some of our characters are in a hypnotic trance this week. The first and most obvious example is Emily, as she was put under hypnosis to help deal with her trauma. Then we have Spencer, who is not acting like herself and is just floating through life like she is in some sort of trance. And finally, we have both Fitz brothers. I don't know what is going on with them, but they both seem to be transfixed on inappropriate relationships. I think they might have some mommy issues they need to help to be figured out. I think so.
Absolutely. Good one, Mike.
Absolutely. Oh.
How many scoops?
He gave it 2.
Yeah.
2 scoops.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Mm-hmm.
Next week's episode is a little bit more
we rev up?
action-packed. Yeah.
Cool.
Who is your MVP?
On 3?
On 3, sure.
3, 2, 1, Pam.
Yeah. It was hard to pick anyone but her.
Well, I'm going to give a blue ribbon to Emily, even though the whole hypnotherapy scene made me LOL.
Yep.
But I think she had a good episode. I like the fact that she approached Spencer and was like, I know you're going through it, but if you need me, I'm here to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And she also explained, like, sometimes it's not always what you think it is.
Right.
I mean, this doesn't really apply, but she expressed her own.
How did you feel? We didn't really go into it that much, but the flashback she does have with Allie.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, do you see that as flirting on Allie's side, or do you see that just as like how Allie's personality is?
Yeah, just
like
as Allie's
she's just like a controlling type of, I wouldn't. I guess not. Controlling is not the word.
I think you can have a flirtatious personality, but it doesn't mean you're flirting.
Flirting, yeah.
It just.
But Emily was like, "Where are we going?" She's like, "We're gonna go away forever."
You,
like
me, and Petty.
You, me, and Perry. Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
It just, to me, it seemed very childish.
Okay. Yeah, I just was wondering where your head was at with that situation because, as we know, like obviously Emily was in love with her.
Yeah.
And we usually don't see Allie mean towards Emily. Like we were talking with Lauren. Lauren's like, yeah, she's definitely mean to Hannah, but she's to Emily. She has like a soft spot for her, and I just feel like it's hard to see when she's genuine. Like it's hard to tell when she's genuine with any relationship.
Yeah.
Shittiest.
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Mona.
Spencer.
Yeah.
Just for the mausoleum.
Yeah, just the mausoleum part is really bad.
I do not approve of that.
Ugh.
Very disrespectful.
So disrespectful.
I don't care how angry I was. I know I wouldn't do something like that.
Same. I would feel. I mean, even if I did, I would never forgive myself ever.
No.
Ever.
No.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, Mona's a good choice.
Yeah, just like you are tormenting Spencer.
But that's what Mona does.
I know. It just. And
but now it's even more.
It's really like a
power behind it. I'm curious though. Once the girls find out
that Toby is part of it,
like how are we going to approach Mona?
I don't know.
Yes, of course.
Cringe. How cringy?
I mean, I don't know.
Maybe like a 4.
Yeah, 4. It wasn't that cringy, and me laughing is just. It wasn't cringy. I don't think the hypno stuff was cringy.
No, it just was kind of funny.
Made me laugh. Yeah.
And then, well, of course, like the Wes dialogue. Like some of the dialogue was,
yeah.
But that was really it. It wasn't high this week.
No.
Next week, the title, episode 19, What Becomes of the Brokenhearted.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. My secret is that the decathlon is next week. LOL, how they said it was a month away. It's actually next week. But guess who's not competing? And she is pissed.
Spencer.
Oh, yeah. And she is on the warpath.
So does Spencer get kicked off the team? I guess you wouldn't tell me. So I think Spencer.
Yeah, she gets kicked off the team because she hasn't been participating.
Yeah.
And she is, because, Mona's the captain. So she's like, Mona.
Well, what about, where's Andrew?
Andrew's there.
Andrew Campbell.
We'll see Andrew next week. We'll see a lot of Andrew Campbell next week.
Okay. So the decathlon, is it on Rosewood?
No. They get hotel rooms.
Yeah. Okay. So I think Spencer is still going to go. I think Andrew's going to try to finagle to get her on stage and compete. That's where I see this going.
Okay.
Also, you know what? I wouldn't mind let me not say that. What I was going to say is like an angry...
little anger bang?
Anger bang. An anger banger. But I
wouldn't be mad at that
I
either.
don't want Andrew to get hurt. I don't know you, Andrew.
Well, maybe he wouldn't be. Maybe he'd just be like, yeah, this is cool.
No, because I think he probably has it.
He's got the hots for her.
Yeah. But
I mean, in the
an
books,
anger banger.
An anger banger would be real fun.
Real fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Kat says the decathlon Mona declares is a week away. She said it was a month away in 3:15. It's not December though. Would you believe it? It's only about day 37 of never ending November.
I feel like Kat is our November counter. Kat is our calendar.
Mm-hmm.
Kat's calendar.
Kat's calendar. There you go.
And she is keeping us on track with this November
ridiculous.
Situation.
It's ridiculous.
They
did specifically say in 3:15 it's a month away. A month? We're on 3 episodes. So then I guess if you were to count it, it would be, each episode is a week.
Yeah.
So I guess technically it could be a month away, but it's only like if you follow Lauren's calendar, it's been like 3 days.
Do we get Thanksgiving?
No. I don't think so. Wait, actually, don't quote me on that. I really don't remember.
Okay, because I'm just thinking of like November holiday,
right?
Like a marker of like, okay, well, if we know if it's Thanksgiving, then December's got to be coming soon.
I'm not sure on that.
Okay,
I'm not
that's
sure
okay.
on that.
That's okay.
half.
LOL.
LOL.
All right.
Next week's episode's got some juice, got some stuff going on.
Okay. I look
It's a
forward
fun
to
one.
it.
Yeah.
I look forward to it.
Yeah. Hey, for old time's sake, maybe you want to leave us an Apple Podcast review.
Yes.
We haven't gotten one of those in a little bit, and we're just wondering if you're liking the show. Reach out on Apple, tap the stars, rate us, give us a review. You can also on Spotify leave a comment. You can also give us a rating on there as well. So we'd love to see it.
Yeah.
If you're on YouTube, subscribe, comment, like. Let us know you're here. We love getting all of those, the feedback from you guys.
Yes.
Yeah. And next week, 3/19.
Let's go,
wow,
baby.
Wow. Yeah. Hi.
Bye,
Bye.
friends.